So grateful to have Shape as our partner for this event, and my good friend Ryan Brown up here. So talk a little bit about Shape historically, of course, because it's a family business originally and originated primarily out of doing fit-out work, and then that's evolved into a national listed company now as well that's doing large new builds. Why Modular? And obviously you're stepping into that role.
Thanks, mate. Firstly, love to be here today. It's amazing to see so many people here. So, credit to you and your team for what you're doing in the industry. And, it's all about the rising tide and lifting those ships. So, hats off to you, mate. Well done. Shape, what an amazing organisation to be a part of. It's nice to see it up on the screen and be a part of it. So, for me, I've sort of, been working pretty passionately in the modular side of things for the last probably 5 or 6 years now, and it was a natural progression to sort of find a partner like Shape who's investing in the future of construction, and certainly, modular, is a big player in that. So as you've heard in the first hour or so of this session, that I think you talk about modular being, a spectrum. And certainly, we're at the start of our journey. We've made an acquisition of a 30-year-old volumetric business. It's a Victorian business, and that's giving us our platform to grow from. I talked about, whether it's a kit of parts or, panelised, but it's smarter building, and that can take on many forms. So, as an ASX shareholder, listed company now, shareholders want growth, and there's going to be huge growth, as we've heard, 5% only of residential. So we want to be a player in that space, and we're working through it day by day.
Easy. And then I suppose we've talked a little bit in terms of the supply chain and value across the whole project life. So you and I, we've talked about design, construct, maintain, operate. Can you talk a bit more about what this sort of space allows for in that maintain, operate space as well?
Yeah, I think, the ability to play an early role in the design and how we can digitally irrigate our buildings is massive. I think Lance talked about it before, about in that smart building value chain. But something that Shape does really well, and we're going to focus on going forwards, is that aftercare side of things. For us, our role doesn't stop at point of handover. We're there for the life cycle of the space for that building. And we're going to be looking at more facilities maintenance, and so that we can really add value for our clients at another step. And I suppose, within modular and what we're doing within BIM and designing and making sure that we can embed that in the building going forward, whether it be, the energy performance or, our notification that's telling us when to change that air conditioning filter. So,
yeah, absolutely. And last one for you, talking about the vision of the future of construction, and more specifically maybe around procurement. And when I've talked about this with my DPC friends, I say that it's not actually that sexy, it's just procurement. That's the first step. You want to talk about that as well?
Yeah, look, it's a shame Grant, our GM for SA, is not here, because he's a pretty passionate person about it. But look, we don't want to weigh in on policy and procurement, but clearly, that is a big factor. I think, from our perspective as a builder, the earlier we can be engaged, the better, because, that's where we can add value. So, if we're, getting a tender and it's documented a certain way, that's how we have to build it, and we're doing a competitive process to achieve that outcome. But if we can bring those smarts earlier in the design phase, working in a collaborative team environment, we're going to see better outcomes for the client at the end of the day. I think traditional procurement can and certainly still work with early builder input. So that's what I'd encourage those policy makers and decision makers that are, involved up front to get builder input. I think, Damien and his team, what they're doing with Prefab Oz, there's a really great example at the moment with the Queensland government and QBuild, where they're looking at a housing program and how to, roll out remote and regional workforce accommodation. So, they've got a group of 10 builders, I think, modular builders together, and they've all contributed to a design that then they can competitively price. So, we've done that work up front, engaged with consultants, and I think, from what we've seen, and Cameron, our GM of Modular, just visited the other week and was really impressed by what he saw and the outcomes that are being achieved. So, yeah, a great example of that upfront input.
Easy. Ryan, thank you. Thanks to Shape again. We're going to have like a 2 or 3 minute break, so then we get into the fun, interactive, well, the more fun, I don't know.
And you've got lolly bags in front of you, your little black lolly bag, so that, some sustenance to keep you going.
All right, take a breather.